Hey everyone, welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we're talking about pleasure versus happiness for weight loss. We need to make a distinction between these two because it clarifies a lot for you. And it's going to really help you, I think. So, pleasure is something you get while you're doing it. So, when you're eating ice cream, when you're eating the pizza, you are getting pleasure from it. And happiness is something you get that lasts long afterwards. So, when you eat cookies, you don't get a lot of happiness from it. You get pleasure from it. But as soon as you're done eating the cookies or the ice cream, the pleasure disappears and you're not usually very happy. You're not happier that you just ate that. Your happiness starts to go down because of that behavior. Whereas if you eat an apple, go for a walk, drink some water, do something healthy that's good, eat moderately, what happens is you may not get as much pleasure doing that in the moment. But then what happens is your happiness goes up. And the beauty of happiness is that it keeps on going. It lasts a lot longer. So when you do the right thing, you go and do some exercising, you eat the right foods, you make the right decisions, you feel happy afterwards. When you go to bed, you feel happy that you did it. You wake up the next morning, you're happy you did it. And so the happiness keeps building on itself. And if you can orient yourself more towards happiness and the things that develop and give you happiness, rather than the things that give you momentary pleasure, you're going to find that those decisions almost guaranteed are going to help you to lose weight as well. And so this is a really important distinction to make because most of the time when people think about weight loss, they're thinking about removing pleasure, but they're not recognizing how much more happiness they're getting. And so if you start to have two measurement systems, one that measures pleasure and one that measures happiness, I think you start to bring a lot more motivation into this process for yourself. Because yes, if you just focus on the pleasure piece, when you start eating in a way to lose weight, you're usually going to have less pleasure. But we ignore the happiness piece. And if you start paying attention, you realize, holy shit, the happiness piece is really building up here. And the beauty is it just keeps exponentially building on itself because each and every day you do something good, you feel really proud of yourself. Each and every day you lengthen that up and you add to that, you start to feel better yourself. And then what happens is you start getting the results from that, right? So you're happy you made better decisions. You're proud of yourself. You're happy from doing those things. Now the scale starts going down. Now you're even happier. You see? And so the happiness is the real secret. Focusing on your happiness is the secret to really tapping into a much richer, deeper source of motivation to get yourself to do the things that are going to lead you to lose weight and ultimately live at your goal weight. So give this some thought. And if you want some reinforcement with this kind of mindset, click the link in my bio, go get the hypnosis session I made for you, watch the video I made, and read the emails I send you because it's going to help you reinforce this mindset and this perspective. And that is what's going to help you to lose weight and ultimately live at your goal weight. So I hope this helps you out. So anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. What's up, Rachel? How's it going? Yeah. Turn the heater off. Hot days here. It's hot. Thank God, right? It's nice and warm here in Massachusetts today, but gotta get out of the winter routines because I'm gonna cook myself. So if everyone's having a nice day, yeah, I just do there. It's funny with this TikTok is I can tap it in such a way that it changes the whole view of how this looks, but it's okay now. Yeah. So if everyone's having a nice day. If you have any questions, concerns, comments about weight, feel free to ask them. I know how people are doing. I do know a lot of people I know anyways, while I'm living this world, but a lot of people are kind of kicked back into their routine because it's the first of the month. So if that's you, how's that going? Are you still with it? Are you still sticking to it? Have you already quit? No shame here. Which actually I just got off a coaching call and it wasn't shame. Of course, shame and blame are pretty much related, but this person didn't have a great week and they put some weight on and they go, well, I have no one to blame but myself. And it's like, I know technically I get what that could mean, but in the real world, I have no one to blame but myself. When we start blaming ourselves, it doesn't feel good usually. As a matter of fact, it made me think. Let's see what the definition of blame is. I bet there's a little extra to it. Assign responsibility for a fault or wrong. Okay. So that's perfect. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So in this situation, right, the person put some weight on and So in that situation, they go, I got no one to blame but myself, right? With another way, so we use a definition. I got no one to assign responsibility for a fault or a wrong than myself. Now, on a very, very technical level, that could be true. Like if you were a computer, perhaps, but you're not a computer. And so you're emotionally going to respond to that. And an alternative way to process that is if you put some weight on to say, oh, okay, I put some weight on because I've been eating more. Okay. Why have I been eating more? Now, we went through this and it turned out this person has had a very challenging 2 weeks. Just financial challenges, life challenges, just some different stuff, just a little more than normal. And they turned to the food to manage it. So once we break that down, we say, okay, you've been eating more because you've had a stressful couple of weeks and you turn to the food. And she goes, well, now that we talk about it, I didn't even realize how kind of stressed I was. So yeah, that's very common. We tend not to recognize our emotional states. And so the first step of really transforming your reading and your weight ultimately is to start to develop awareness of your thought patterns, your emotional reactions, and your habitual behaviors. And so I said to her, if you could go back in time 2 weeks, knowing what you know now, what would you have done differently? And she goes, well, I would have realized that I was so stressed. I did not even realize that is not in my stomach for the last 2 weeks. I would have realized that. And I would have reminded myself that everything's going to be fine. These things are stressful, but they're not life threatening. I've dealt with all this stuff my whole life and come out the other end fine. So I would have reminded myself of that. Great. If you went through the last 2 weeks realizing you were stressed, realizing these challenges, reminding yourself that you would have been fine, you've gone through this before, everything's going to be okay, how do you think you would have eaten? Because I definitely would have eaten better. I would have eaten better. So I share this with you because, again, what we tend to do is we want to go right into beating ourselves up, blaming ourselves. And technically what that means is that we're just looking to say the answer to everything is more willpower. If you're challenged in life, you're stressed out, you got a knot in your stomach, you're freaking out, you feel overwhelmed, just don't eat. Just don't eat. But what that really does is the eating is, for most people, the number one way that they're going to reduce stress and overwhelm. So you're not going to resist your best strategy for making yourself feel better in a situation where you're completely overwhelmed and stressed out. So that way of beating ourselves up is so limited and it never really identifies the core problems, which prevents you from ever getting to actual solutions that would help you. And so in this person's case, when we go back and say what would have been different, they're learning, they're growing, they're developing awareness, they're tapping into strategies. And that was just the first step. I mean, saying everything's going to be fine is a great strategy, but I'm sure over the next week, she will come up with other strategies. Maybe I could sit for a few minutes and just relax myself. Maybe I could go swimming. Maybe I go for a walk. Maybe I could eat an apple. Again, there's a lot of things we could do, but we're not going to do any of them until we realize we're stressed out and we're freaking out and we need to deal with this. And a lot of you are never dealing with your emotional issues on a core level. You're just beating yourself up because you're not just doing the right things. So that doesn't work because it doesn't identify the problem and resolve it. That's why most dieters are stuck in the exact same loop they've been stuck in for decades of wanting to eat better, trying to eat better, not eating better, beating themselves up about it, not eating better. Trying to eat better, not eating better, beating themselves up about not eating better, not eating better. Trying to eat better, and on and on and on and on and on. And nothing ever changes. The diets change, right? Oh, now I'm going to try and eat better. I'm going to, now it's keto. I'm going to try to do that. It didn't work and beat myself up, stop eating well. Now I'm going to try intermittent fasting. Did it for a little bit, didn't do it, beat myself up. Now I'm not doing it. Oh, I'm going to try Weight Watchers again. Do it for a little while. Don't do it right. Beat yourself up. Stop doing it. And it's this pattern over and over and over. And it can go on your entire life. I have worked with people in their 70s and occasionally in their 80s. So, I mean, you don't necessarily just wake up from this. So you've got to intentionally start changing the way you think and deal with the challenges that you have in your life and start finding solutions and stop blaming yourself. The blame doesn't fix the problem. The blame prevents you from fixing the problem. And again, there's taking responsibility. So I want to be clear about this. There's taking responsibility and looking at things in a solution-oriented way and looking for better answers. But that's not what most dieters are doing. They're just, again, berating themselves and beating themselves up. What's up, Jim? Jen says, hi, Jim. I've been a slacker with my hypnosis, but still working it. Still at goal 104 days. Never stayed even close to this before. Thank you. Well, you're welcome, Jen. Yeah, and that's okay. Being a slacker with this stuff, that's normal and natural, you know, and a lot of times you don't have to keep this up at the same rate that you have been, just so you know. I mean, it's always different for each person. So each person has to figure out what that is for them, but it's fine to, you know, this is designed, the hypnosis especially is meant to be a supplement to install the mindset, lifestyle, and eating that keeps you at your goal weight. I don't listen to hypnosis sessions anymore. And I don't even really do the redo rehearsal technique with my weight and food related things that much anymore. I do most of my business stuff. So great job, Jen. Yeah. At some point, you don't have to keep doing this. You know, you kind of internalize it and it becomes automatic. So great job, Jen. Proud of you. I'll make a little screenshot. It's my goal. It's one of my new goals I'm working on is get all these testimonials somewhere where people can see them. Yeah. So yeah, but if anyone's any questions, feel free to ask them. Oops. Oh shit. Sorry, TikTok. I am live here. Let me see if anyone said anything. But the main thing here is that if you're struggling with your weight and you've never really heard me before, the reason you're struggling is a knowledge issue, not a willpower issue. Rave again says, discipline and consistency helped me lose 180 pounds from my highest weight. Nice job. Nice job. Again, discipline, though, I will let you all know, discipline is not going to work for most of you. And I could dive into raw vegan. Raw vegan. I got you, raw vegan. Yep. We could dive into raw vegan story, and there's a lot more going on there than discipline and consistency. They're both important, folks. Okay. But I could tell, you know, put me in a room of 1,000 dieters and say, hey, dieters, you all got to be disciplined and consistent. That's how you lose weight. And they're all going to walk out of that room and none of them are going to lose weight. Every dieter on the planet knows they need to be disciplined and consistent. So the weight loss world is basically telling you what to do. Your entire weight loss history has been some form or another of someone telling you what to do, how to eat, how to work out, how to live, what to do. But almost no one has shown you how to get yourself to do it. So you have an entire weight loss history littered with, it doesn't matter, the cabbage diet, the grapefruit diet, the keto, HCG diet, or GHB diet, not GHB, what's it, HCG diet. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the diet is because every diet's the exact same thing. Here, do this. And again, being told to be disciplined and consistent, it's in the same category. And I'm not saying that it's not important and valuable. It is, but it's not going to help 99.99% of you dieters lose weight. Just so you know. Because someone could be 200 pounds overweight right now and see raw vegan and say, oh, discipline and consistency. That's what I got to be more disciplined and consistent. No, what happened for raw vegan, if we really dived into it, I guarantee you, because I've studied literally hundreds of people that have lost weight and kept it off, is that there was something that shifted her mindset that allowed her to be disciplined and consistent. She was 180 pounds heavier. I guarantee you she knew she should be consistent and disciplined that entire time. But something in her head shifted, and then she was able to start being more disciplined and consistent. So I'm just letting you all know that, because you will read something like that. It doesn't matter. It could be raw vegan saying discipline and consistency. It'll be someone saying, oh, I did keto and lost 100 pounds. I did Weight Watchers and I lost 100 pounds. Fill in the blank. Lost 100 pounds. A dieter hears that says, that's what I'm going to do. And then you try and force yourself to be more consistent and disciplined, and it doesn't work. Raw vegan tried to be more disciplined and consistent 1 million times before she was actually able to. So there was some shift there. I would love to know what it was, because that would be a lot more helpful That'd be a lot more helpful for us. But I appreciate you sharing your story because, again, it's always nice to hear, stories of success. But there's a lot more going on there than just that. So I always like to reinforce that because dieters always feel bad about themselves, which is why I'm here every day. Because I don't like when people feel bad about themselves. It makes me sad. Rob Vegan says, don't forget zero sugar. I'm 65, best shape of my life. Zero meds for me. I showed myself how to. Yeah. And don't forget zero sugar. Again, you know what I mean? Like, again, and I completely respect Rob Vegan's journey, accomplishments, results. Agreed. But I would never, like, I study people that have successfully lost weight and kept it off. And that's literally what Program Yourself then is. It's me sharing everything I've learned from that with all of you. But I would never study Raw Vegan and then come back to you and say, okay, guys, what you need is to be more consistent, more disciplined. Oh, yeah. And no sugar, because that wouldn't help any of you. So I see what Rob Vegan says on the bottom here. Yes, I didn't want to die overweight. So there we go. Something happened. Now, you didn't want to die overweight when you were 180 pounds for years too. However, there was something at a certain moment that really sunk in. And that's what I would be fascinated with. I'm fascinated. That's called a paradigm shift. And every person who's lost weight long-term experiences this. It's that moment when something flips. This is what I'm trying to say to you dieters. It's not a knowledge issue. I could sit here. I could give you a nutritional book this big with every piece of nutrition in the world in it, about every single food you could possibly eat. Give you that book. It's not going to help you lose weight. I could send you to a dietitian and nutritionist. They could customize the perfect eating plan for you to live at your goal weight. That's probably not going to help you lose weight. Why? Because it's not knowing what to do that's your core problem. Your core problem is you don't know how to get yourself to do it. Raw Vegan knew she should be consistent, disciplined, and not eat sugar for a lot of years while she was 180 pounds heavier. Something happened that made her see it differently all of a sudden. And she's saying, yes, I didn't want to die overweight, but it's deeper than that. And it was more specific. And be fascinating to find out what that is. But I share that with you all because this is what you all are missing from your weight loss journey. And right off the bat, and Program Yourself, then this is motivation. You all don't even know how to be motivated. What do you want? You're not motivated. You weigh what you want to weigh. So you're not motivated and you have no idea how to figure your motivation out. And to be honest, Raw Vegan may not even know why she's motivated. She just knows, I don't want to die overweight. Well, there's more to it than that. And just because we experience it doesn't mean we can explain it. That's why I do what I do. I am a neuro-linguistic programming trainer. That's my specialty. And what that is, it's really the science of role modeling. And so it allows me to go into someone's mind in a much deeper way to understand why they do what they do. So that's what I literally have been doing for 30 years now, 20 years professionally. So hearing to be disciplined, consistent, and not eat sugar is not helpful to any of you. Hearing Raw Vegan's story of how all of a sudden it sunk in that she didn't want to die overweight, I would love to hear that story. That would be helpful to you. To hear how she made the shifts, the changes, the process of transformation, that would be valuable to you. And I say this to you to try and protect you because the diet industry is exploiting this to you all the time. The fastest way to put a dieter into a trance is to say, I lost 180 pounds in 2 years. Do you want to know how I did it? Yes, tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do. No, telling you what to do isn't going to do shit. You've been told what to do hundreds of times. You have to realize this. You have to wake up from this. You've got all the knowledge you need in your mind right now to lose weight in terms of what to do. What you're completely lacking is the ability to get yourself to do those things consistently. You have no idea how to run your mindset. You have no idea how to motivate yourself as an initial step. And Program Yourself, then we follow the weight mastery pyramid: mindset, lifestyle, eating. Mindset's the first thing. And the first part of there's 6 categories of mindset. The very first one is motivation. We start there because you all aren't motivated. You think you're motivated and you're not. That's the first kind of illusion you got to work through. So anyways, Just Jade says, have you been on the skinny talk side of TikTok? Seems the GLP-1s have driven us back to the hyper skinny wave days of the 90s. No, but I mean, I know there's a lot of, I to be completely honest, I don't go onto social media weight related shit at all. I avoid it like the plague. I hate it. It bums me out so hard in so many ways. And yeah, I'm sure skinny talk, people doing the GLP-1s to be super skinny, you know, I really, I don't care about that because I know, yes, my program's called Program Yourself Thin. I've wrestled with that name for so long, but to me, that the word thin means you at your goal weight, and your goal weight is the weight that gives you the best quality of life. Just being the skinniest person you can be is not the best quality of life. And I'll argue with that all day long. And so I don't give a shit about GLP-1s. I don't give a shit. If they, you take them and all of a sudden you just start losing weight. I don't give a fuck. I'm not even interested in that. Program Yourself then takes weight loss and wraps it in personal development. So I'm really interested in personal development and using that to master your weight as well, but also to master your life. So the GLP-1s, this is, again, I'm not knocking them. I think they're great for people that don't want to put the work in to really master their weight, their mindset, lifestyle, eating. People that don't want to do that work, great. I think GLP-1s are probably your best option after that. But I think what I'm talking about here is far superior to GLP-1s, and there's no question about it. There's no question about it, because first of all, you're learning how to run your own mind. You're learning how to create a lifestyle that supports a really high level of health, and you're learning how to eat in a way that gives you a high level of health, lets you live at your goal weight for the rest of your life, and is structured and built around you so you can enjoy yourself. And it's exponentially cheaper. It's probably ultimately going to be exponentially healthier. And there's a sense of satisfaction. And again, once you lose the weight, it sets you up to still thrive in life. So there's no comparison. The people I've worked with that are at their goal weight, it's not even a comparison. Again, GLP-1 is it's fine for people that don't want to put any of the work in, but it's a shitty, far distant second place to Program Yourself Thin. So I don't even care, but yeah, let people be as skinny as they want, and fuck them, folks. Wake the fuck up. You know what I mean? Wake up. People say that to me. It's like, oh, you're talking about thin. You just want to be as thin as possible. You don't want anorexic. I don't want that. I'm not talking about that at all. I'm talking about you in the best quality of your life. And if you're an adult and you can't snap out of the trance of, oh, just skinny is the best thing. If you're locked in that, that's your journey. You know what I mean? Like, I have no part of that. I can't even wrap my head around that. How in 2025, you can still think being the skinniest person is the best person. I don't even get that. You say, well, you're not a woman. I understand that. I work with women all day long. And the skinniest you is not the best you necessarily. Now, if the best you is the skinniest you, that's a different story. Being the best version of you and now I'm the skinniest me, okay, well, then that's the best you. But just becoming the skinniest version of you doesn't make you the best you automatically. And if you don't fucking know that at this point, then just keep scrolling. Get the fuck out. This isn't for you. So I get it. I know there's skinny talk and I hate all that shit. It's toxic. It's crappy. I suggest when you see that stuff, you move on, or pay the price. It's going to fuck with your head. Jennifer says, once you accept the mindset that you don't have to be perfect and this is a lifelong journey, it's liberating. Yeah, of course. Jen's in the program. So that's what I mean. So here we go. Jennifer, right? Let's just take Jennifer, for example, against a GLP-1. This is just one example out of many. But so Jennifer just said it. I've been a slacker with the hypnosis. So, because again, she's been doing the program for, I don't know, 6 months, 7 months, I forget how long. And she's like, I'm at my goal weight for 104 days without doing all the intensity of the program, which is normal. That's what I don't want you doing the intensity of the program forever. We're supposed to automate a lot of this. So now she's at her goal weight for 104 days, never stayed even close to this before. Okay. And then she's telling you the secrets here. She says right after that, once you accept the mindset that you don't have to be perfect and this is a lifelong journey, it's liberating. Now let's compare that to someone who's at their goal weight on a GLP-1. They've been at their goal weight for 104 days. Do you think it's the same? Do you think for the rest of your life, you've got to be on this medicine, paying this money out, putting this shit in your body, feeling half nauseous, having no difference in your mindset compared to someone who's done this completely naturally in a way where their mindset's transformed, their lifestyle's transformed, supporting them, their eating plan is structured, customized around them, and now they're at their goal weight and want to be that way for the rest of their lives? How would you put those two together on an equal level? And so I'm not shit talking the GLP-1s because I think they're great. I think there's a lot of people that are not going to do this work. And I think this is the next best thing. Being overweight, being slightly overweight is not dangerous for your health most of the time. I just want to make that clear. Being extremely overweight into the obese category starts to very much be correlated with having a lot of health issues. So I think whatever this medicine ends up doing ultimately, if there's any negative effects, I think they'll pale in comparison to the effects of obesity. So I think people are healthier taking that if they're not going to put this work in. But you have to understand, in my world, every day I'm helping people transform from the inside out into a better version of themselves with the strategies, mindset, lifestyle, and eating plans that keep them at their goal weight for the rest of their lives, comfortably, enjoyably, and they just are thriving. So how are you, if that's my reality. So when someone comes and says, "Oh, what do you think about the GLPs?" Well, I don't think a whole lot about them. What? What do I think? I don't think they're that great compared to this. And I think they're great compared to diets. So, you know, yeah, just to say I don't agree with it. I'm just saying skinny talk is taking over. Even people not on GLP-1s, the advice is basically don't eat. No, I get it, Just Jade. I get triggered by it because it's just like I hate social media weight stuff, even though I guess I am, which is weird, but I just hate it because I swear 99% of weight loss world is all bullshit. I literally can't think of almost anyone I would even say, hey, go listen to them. I'm not trying to have the delusions of grandeur like I'm the only one with any answers. I don't think that's the case. I think I'm almost the only person I've ever heard of. And I have been doing this for 30 years. I literally, I read a book a week. I mean, I'm in this world and I just don't see people out there with a comprehensive, holistic strategy to live at your goal weight for the rest of your life. I don't see those people. I don't see those systems. So everything else is based around how can I lose weight fast? I don't give a fuck how you lose weight fast. I couldn't care less if you lose weight fast. That's your problem, folks, is that you value losing weight fast more than anything else. And the faster you lose weight, the less long you're going to keep it off for, pretty much. There's always some outliers that's not true for, but for the vast majority of people, the faster you lose the weight, the faster you're going to put it back on. So anyways. There's Kent. Kent says his program worked, comfortably losing 1 to 2 pounds per week for 5 months without feeling like I'm restricting anything. Yeah, exactly. I'll screenshot. That's my problem. I got to promote myself more. I don't put my testimonials up even. It's crazy, you know. I live in my happy little corner of the world where I just watch these people get amazing results, you know. I try and share this with you guys every day. Oh, Rob Vegan says, my ankles collapsed under my weight in the restaurant parking lot. I went down mortified. Okay. So you see what I mean? Thank you for sharing that, Rob Vegan. I really appreciate that because once you have that sort of experience, now that's a motivating experience. So, you know, Rob Vegan should have prefaced all this by saying, hey, listen, what you need to have is some, you know, catastrophic, mortifying event to motivate you. And then you'll find that consistency, no sugar, and discipline is you know, important and easier to do. But yeah, I get it, Ravi. So great job taking that experience and transforming it into, you know, long-lasting motivation to accomplish something amazing. Great job. And that's, what did I tell you? I told you this before she told me it. I said there was some event that happened that take that stuff she's saying into. So I will tell you this, Raw Vegan, because you have the potential to be a real source of light and help in this area of the world. But it will not be by telling people to be more consistent and disciplined and not eat sugar. That's not going to help anyone. You will do much better helping people by starting with this story about how you collapsed under your weight in a restaurant parking lot and going and sharing that story in detail. And then talking about the next couple months, of how you thought about things and how you transform the way you thought about things. That'll be a much more compelling story and a much more helpful story to help people than going right and, oh no, discipline and consistency. You get to that. I get it. I'm consistent, disciplined too. I agree, but I don't lead with that because that's not going to help anyone. But I appreciate you sharing that, Robbie. And great story. Intuitive Bestie says, I'm afraid if I lose weight, men will bother me. Yes, very common. I would say that's the number one subconscious fear women have of losing weight is that, you know, this society, your past experiences, you know, potential traumas you may have experienced, that you're using the weight as a way to defend yourself from men's attention. Very common. And again, this goes right to the motivation piece of the puzzle. If that's the case for you, we've got to acknowledge that. We can't ignore it. We have to acknowledge it, and we need to come up with a solution to it. And the solution becomes, I'm either going to decide to be overweight because it's a good strategy to avoid men's attention, and I'm going to be fine with that because that's the decision I'm making, or I'm going to figure out another way to deal with men's attention, and I'm going to be at my goal weight. And you may not know what those answers are yet, but again, you've got basically two choices, but you got to make it because subconsciously you're doing exactly what you want to do. This is why I say to you all, listen, folks, you all weigh what you want to weigh. You weigh exactly what you want to weigh. You want to be overweight. If you're overweight, you want to be overweight. Now, in the most obvious sense, if you don't want men's attention, you literally want to be overweight so you avoid men's attention. Avoiding men's attention is more important to you than losing weight. And so you're doing exactly what you want to do. Now, that may not be your story. Your story may be, well, I want to lose weight, but I want to keep eating and living the way I'm living more. And that's, right up there as well. But the point comes back to you weigh exactly what you want to weigh, and you're bullshitting yourself by saying, oh my God, I want to lose weight more than anything, and I'm not losing weight. Well, that's not true. I've never seen that be true. Not once. So again, subconsciously, you weigh what you subconsciously want to weigh, exactly what you want to weigh. And if you change that motivation up and you fix that part, and you subconsciously start to want to lose weight, then you will start losing weight. So, hope that makes sense. And if you don't agree with that, let me know. We could talk about it more. I do want to lose it so I can be proud of myself and can live my life in motion. I get it, intuitive bestie. You wanna lose it so you can be proud of yourself and live life in motion. You want it that much, and then you want to be free of men's attention this much. So this one's going to win. It's real simple, folks. I promise you. If you're overweight, there's a subconscious reason you want to be overweight, and it could be you want to avoid men's attention. It could be that you want to keep eating and living the way you're living more. You enjoy it, and that's what you want day to day. But your motivation to be overweight is higher than your motivation to lose weight if you're overweight and not losing weight. Does anyone not agree with that? I know you think that because you think you're doing everything in the world to lose weight, but you're not. I've done 6,000 private weight loss sessions, so I just know more about this than you. I know you've got your own experience, but I have just unlimited experiences almost with people that have been like, no, Jim, listen, I know you say this, but I really want to lose weight. And then we get into it and it's always the exact story that, no, there's a reason you didn't want to lose weight. And then we reveal it and now we can do the work. That's why I always start with motivation, because you need to be motivated to do this. And most of you are not. It's not my fault. I don't shoot the messenger. What's up, Karen? How's it going? Okay, so I'm doing great. Thanks to you. Well, thank you. That's nice. Yeah. Intuitive bestie. Yeah. GLP-1 made me so sick. Yeah. It makes a lot of people really sick. I mean, again, when it works, it kind of makes you feel sick. It's kind of this low level nausea that you live with, and you just always feel full. And again, I'm curious to see, I'm just so interested to see what happens with the GLP-1s because, you have to understand we are in the absolute honeymoon phase of GLP-1s. And the big reason for that is that what a lot of people don't realize is that GLP-1s help you lose weight for about 12 to 16 months. And then that's usually about it. You're not going to lose any more weight. And I think where, the GLP-1s really kind of hit the market starting last January. So we're about another 3 months or so, it's going to start. And from basically, July, September until next September, people are going to start. I don't know what they're going to do. What are they going to do when they stop losing weight? And now we got to just pay this money and feel kind of half shitty for the rest of our lives. And we're not even at our goal weight and we're not going to get there. So I don't know. You know what I mean? Again, the GLP-1s, I'm a fan of them in a lot of situations because I know most people, the vast majority of people don't. First of all, most people couldn't do what I'm talking about anyways. They're just not built for it. I mean, I work with a very specific type of person. I work with overthinkers, type A type people, action-oriented people. They're usually successful personally, professionally, some area of their life. They're very, very successful. And then with their weight, they're not. And that's the type of person I work with. People that are kind of, mentally just more relaxed, don't get my program. It's not for you. It's a very, it's like college for weight mastery. So you got to be that type of person. And so most people aren't that way. So for people that aren't that way and are just going to die for the rest of their lives, the GLP-1s are a godsend because it's pretty much the only thing that's going to do it for you. But if you are a person who's an overthinker, action-oriented, likes to dive into things and gets obsessed with things, the Program Yourself Thin is a million times better than a GLP-1. It's infinitely less expensive. It's infinitely healthier. It feels better, a million times better in every way. So yeah, the GLP-1s, I don't know. So I know, again, I like them. I'm saying I like them, but it's that everything's relative. So so Paula, Paula says, I agree, but it's annoying. Yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying that, having to sift through this shit. It's hard work, I don't know. And that's another thing too. Like most people don't want to do hard work. I get that. I respect it. I'm lazy in a lot of areas of my life, but when it comes to my health, my longevity, my quality of life, I'm obsessed, And so, I love doing hard things. It jazzes me up, and mastering your weight is one of the hardest things, but it really is. And again, I think you just have to recognize this. Program Yourself Thin is not an easy program. It feels so liberating to be able to say that. Because at one point I was like, I'll just sell the hypnosis program and I'll just sell it as an easy program. Just sit down, listen, and lose weight. And I could just sell the shit out of that. And I did, actually. And it was like, I don't like it though, because it's like, I can help you lose weight, but I can't make you master it. I could literally, if you'll just listen to my hypnosis sessions, you'll lose weight, guaranteed. But in order to keep the weight off long-term, you need more than just hypnosis sessions. Even my hypnosis sessions. I'm one of the highest paid hypnotists on the planet. I have the #1 hypnosis program in the world for weight loss. There's no program that's even close to this. But I stopped selling it by itself because if you don't want to master your weight, then we're all just wasting our time, because you will listen to hypnosis sessions, you will lose some weight, and then you will go back to what you always do eventually, unless you have your weight mastery blueprints, unless you know how to master your mindset, your lifestyle, your eating, and know how to run your own mind with the Program Yourself Thin technique. So, yeah, it's just for certain people. But yeah, the GLP-1s, not against them. You know what I mean? I think they are what they are, but everything's relative. Son says, interesting why some like to self-sabotage. Something hasn't clicked in my mind, like you said. Yeah, no, I get it. For most of you, the thing hasn't clicked in your mind. And even Raw Vegan, who was here, dropped 180 pounds. Right? And she goes, well, it's consistency and discipline. And I said, no, it's not. That's not what's going to help people lose weight. I said, something happened to you that changed the way you thought about all this. And she goes back, yeah, I collapsed under the weight of my weight in the parking lot. My ankles collapsed. And I realized at that moment, okay, that's a paradigming shifting experience. And this is what all of you need to have. You need to have some paradigm shifting experience that changes the way you think about all this. That's why, again, the motivation piece of the weight mastery program, of a Program Yourself Thin, the weight mastery blueprint, the mindset piece, we start with motivation. And it's the longest part, because you got to get that piece. But once you got the motivation piece clicked in right, everything becomes so much easier. But that's the work you got. I mean, that's the foundation you build upon. And most of you have a cracked, to be honest, most of you, your motivation foundation, it's made out of mud. It's just quicksand. It's not even there. You're not really motivated. You think you're motivated. I already know your motivation. I don't even know you. Your motivation is you want to look better. You want to wear that outfit. You want to wear that bathing suit. You want to look good in pictures. Yeah, well, I'm here to tell you that that's not enough motivation, even though you think it is. It's not true. So again, there's a science to motivation, and you need to find the right motivation for you. Once you do that, then we can build the structure, because we have solid motivation. And again, I don't believe in self-sabotage either. Someone could say, well, I keep self-sabotaging my weight. And then we dive into it and it's like, well, actually, I'm really scared about attention from men. I had a really bad experience and I don't want attention from men, so I don't want to lose the weight. Okay, then it wasn't self-sabotage. It was you doing exactly what you wanted to do. Self-sabotage to me is a real smokescreen that prevents you from figuring out what the real issue is. And so I almost never accept the self-sabotage. I just don't believe it. I find when people say self-sabotage, it's more that they're actually motivated to be overweight for reasons they don't understand or acknowledge, and or they don't really have a plan. And if you don't have a plan or knowledge of how to do something, we can't describe it as self-sabotage. If I sit at a piano, I've never played a piano before in my life. I sit at the piano and I say, I can't play. I'm sabotaging myself. Why am I sabotaging myself? I'm not playing a song here. I'm sabotaging. That's a weird way to describe it, right? If I sit you in front of a computer and say, okay, program me an app. I never programmed an app before. Stop sabotaging yourself. Come on. Huh? I just don't know how to do it. Yeah. And none of you know how to lose weight and live at your goal weight. You know how to diet, but you don't know how to live at your goal weight. You don't know how to run your mind. You don't know how to change your lifestyle. You don't know how to come up with an eating strategy and structure that works for you. You don't know any of those things. So stop saying sabotage. So you say, someone can say, well, something hasn't clicked in my mind. Something hasn't clicked in my mind as I keep sabotaging myself. You're not sabotaging yourself. You don't know how to figure out how to make things click in your mind because you've never studied motivation. You don't understand your mind. What diet program have you ever taken? Go ahead, write it in there because I know I'm going to get zero response to this because I ask this every other day. Write the diet program that you would go study to learn how to change your mindset to that of a thin, healthy person. Yeah, right. What? Which program? Noom? You know what I mean? Like what? What program are you going to study that teaches you how to go from the mindset of an overweight person to the mindset of a thin, healthy person? Nah, fuck that shit, Jim. That shit doesn't matter. Oh, your mindset doesn't matter? Really? Do you really believe that? You're a human being in 2025 and you think your mindset doesn't matter? If you think that, that reveals an absolute, complete, and total ignorance of how your mind works, which again, I'm not sitting here to berate you people. I'm not doing that. I'm trying to give you information to snap you the fuck out of your diet trance. Stop thinking like a dieter, but you really have no idea what to do is the core problem. And then once I show you what to do, then it's work. You have to work it. There is no hacks. There's no fucking, again, I always say like diets are the equivalent of like a get rich quick scheme. Get rich quick schemes are notorious for not working. There are no hacks to accomplish something big and beautiful. There's consistent, strategic, systematic effort in the right direction. And that's the truth of it. And if you won't wrap your head around that, then again, get the fuck out. Get a GLP-1, start another diet, go live in fantasy land. 75% of the population is overweight or obese. That number is estimated to be at 90%. I don't know if that takes in the GLP-1s into account, but again, it's just crazy. Anyways, D&D Pro, I've learned patience with the plan. Hey, great. Yeah, Darlene's in the program. I'm proud of you. You upgraded and yeah, you're in the mastery program. I'm proud of you for doing that because yeah, we got to have patience. Back to my point. It's funny. I'll tell you a funny experience I had. One of the things, I don't know what it was, but just somewhat recently, I said, oh, I know what it was. My shoulder's fixed. My shoulder's been fucked up for 4 years. So it hurts to play. It's kind of hurt to play guitar. It triggered it. It's, ow, it hurts. So I got it fixed. And so now I can play guitar a lot more. And I'm like, oh, I really want to go back to classical guitar. I like playing that. And so I have this classical book I'd gotten and I'm going through it. I'm starting to learn how to read music notation again. And I go and I look at it and I'm like, I've had this book for 30 years, 29 years. Cause I look at it and I was doing a chapter. I was going through a chapter. I did 2/15/96. I wrote on it. I said, holy shit, 30 years of playing the guitar. And I was thinking back to that and I was like, wow, 30 years. And I'm like, it's just so crazy that to think that I was going to do this then, I thought I would just be so good so quick, and I know this is a hard pill to swallow because we're constantly, in America and in the weight loss world on top of it, we're constantly sold instant fixes, but you've got to stop that, and you've got to realize that your weight is a forever marathon. If you want to live at your goal weight, it's a forever process. And dieting is always telling you this story that you're going to do a diet, get your goal weight and there you're done. And it's just not true. It's something you've got to manage forever. And I know that's just disheartening for a lot of people, but so what? Like, I don't know. Yeah, of course we want everything to be easy, but it's not. So then what are you going to do? And that's always a defining question, I think. But good job, Darlene. Jody says it's hard, but a good difficult. You figure out and you have a blueprint. Hard is relative. Yeah, again, Jody's a superstar. So Jody is again, lifelong dieter in the program who's really, 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 mastered her blueprints, mastered, again, what I'm talking about in the program, we have weight mastery blueprints, mindset, lifestyle, eating, where I break it down. There's trainings and you fill out your literal, you customize, you've got to customize everything to yourself. Okay. And you customize your weight mastery blueprints. You figure out what works for you to get to and then live at your goal weight for the rest of your life. And once you have that, it's like gold. It's like the golden ticket in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. It's like once you got this blueprint, it is like solid gold because it's custom made for you. Do you understand that? You've never had this in your life with your weight. Never in your life have you built your weight loss around you. You always take some philosophy or idea that's nothing to do with you. Oh, I'm going to cut all carbs out. Why? Because you heard it on a podcast? Are you going to stop eating for 16 hours? Why? Because you saw a video about it? Oh, I'm going to go back to Weight Watchers. Why? Because your friend's doing it? You know what I mean? Like you have to create a plan that's literally built for you. And it takes some work, obviously. But yeah, like Jody says, it's a good difficult. That's what I like. Playing guitar is a good, like learn music notation. It's hard. And I get anxious about it. Like I look at it, like, I don't know. Oh, I'm not sure what note that is. Calm down, Jim. Learn it. There's no rush. Yeah. It's a good thing because again, that's the happiness thing I was talking about in the beginning. When I practice learning music, it's like, I'm not looking like that's the big difference between now and me 30 years ago. I was reflecting on this. 30 years ago, I really had this idea. I was just going to like be able to learn it all, master it all. And now I've been playing guitar so long, my expectations are way down here. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. I've been playing for 30 years and I haven't learned music yet. So if it takes me 5 years, I don't care. And it's so funny going back to the exact same thing with a completely different mindset. Makes all the difference in the world. And so now it's like, I'm just happy to learn some stuff. I have no time. There is no end point, And so it's like, I learned something and it feels good. It feels good to interface with it. So I think we've lost the art of that in this culture. We just want everything right away, instantly. And a lot of times we don't want to do the work, but the work is the thing that's like gives us the most happiness in life. Doing challenging things to me is just the secret of success in life. I love doing things there's a thing called the concept of flow, a flow state, right? And a flow state is when you go just this much further past your abilities. You know what I mean? So it's like you can do something, but you just go a little bit past it. And most people, when they want to do something, they go way past it. And now it's overwhelming. But if you go just a little past it, it's a sweet spot where it's like you're doing something that you can kind of do, but you're getting better too. So, and that's really what Program Yourself Thin is built around. We refer to it as the 1% better a day philosophy. Instead of trying to get 100% better in one day, we get 1% better. Just Jay said, true. We were made to do hard things. Choose your sacrifice, as they say. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it feels so good to do hard things. I mean, that's the thing that makes me the happiest. Danielle says, can you talk about hair loss after weight loss? Well, that is the one downside of weight loss is that no, I'm joking. If you mean, women sometimes will lose their hair because they do such extreme shit. And so like they're not nourishing themselves, not eating enough calories, they're stressing themselves out and they might experience hair loss, So if that's something that you've been dealing with, again, the first thing I would focus in on is what are you doing to lose weight? And I suggest this for everyone, but especially if you're, prone to hair loss, is pay attention to how extreme the thing is that you're doing and what impact that has on your hair and, take it easier. Breaking free from 715 pounds. So no work needed with GLP. No, you need to do work. I was overstating that. If you can do GLP-1, you still have to be somewhat engaged, but the medicine's doing most of the work, because what work are people going to do? You know what I mean? Like what are people going to do? Most people have very little ability to change their habits. And most people have very little ability to even know what to eat or what to do. I mean, to be honest, but no, you do need to, you could be on a GLP-1. You still got to be in the game. It's just that it reduces your hunger pretty dramatically. And so I think that's what's doing most of the work. But yeah, if you're, attempting to make better food choices, improve your lifestyle, that's going to support you as well, Don says, I just don't think shot fixes the mindset issues, so you gain them back over the time. Yeah, I agree. And GLP-1s, we all know that about them, that the second you stop them, the weight comes right back on. So that is, they will say that. Yeah, not as empowering as. Breaking Free says, how come no different in mindset using a GLP-1? Oh, I see. Yep. Breaking Free says, why can't you promote your stuff without belittling medication? Have you experienced GLP-1 um, and being super morbidly obese? No, I have not. And I do agree that if, and I don't mean to belittle it. I don't mean to do that because, like I said, I think the GLP-1s, they're kind of the second best thing to program yourself thin, in my opinion. And I've worked with people in the program on them. So I've worked with people that are on GLP-1s while they work on their mindset and this other stuff, you know? But yeah, if you're super morbidly obese, that's a completely different category anyways. So, I mean, to be completely honest, I'm really not speaking to that person. I'm speaking to people that are overweight in the first half of the obese category. Typically, that's typically who I work with. I don't work with super morbidly obese people very often. So and I think that's an important distinction to make because that's not my specialty. It is a different situation, than typical weight loss. Right. Um, so I don't mean to belittle the medication. I do not mean that. However, for the average person who is overweight, halfway into the obese category, I definitely think program Sultan is just superior by a lot. So, uh, Intuitive says, "How can you change your subconscious mind? Is it possible?" Oh yeah, you can absolutely change your subconscious mind. I mean, you have a subconscious mind you have now because it was programmed. You have to understand that your behaviors, your habitual thought, feelings, and behaviors flow out of your subconscious programming. And that program was installed there usually by advertisements, the culture, the environment, all these things. And now you just do these things on autopilot. So you just need to put new stuff in your mind, but you can absolutely program your subconscious mind. Breaking Free says, I don't agree. I wish I saw that earlier. I hope you're still here because I'm happy to go back and forth. I got a little backed up on the comments there. Michaela says, damn, I just joined and that was harsh. Not sure what I said. I was talking about the you weigh what you want probably part. Intuitive says, I don't disagree. I just want to know that changing your subconscious is possible. Yep, absolutely possible. And again, if y'all want to see it's possible, go click the link in my bio, get the hypnosis session, watch the video I made. I explain it a lot more and I give you a hypnosis session. You can experience it. So never mind what I say, Breaking Free says, never once always felt full or nauseous on GLP-1. GLP-1s have been studied for 25 years. Yeah, they have. I mean, but the GLP-1s have been studied in the diabetes context. So GLP-1s have been studied for 20, 30 years with type 2 diabetics. And it's just recently they're being used, so extensively with people that are just dealing with weight issues and no diabetes. So again, I mean, but listen, I mean, like I think from what I've read about these, that they seem relatively safe. I mean, there's some obscure things, what I mean, like pancreatitis or some thyroid issue, real rare stuff though. And so I think, I would assume that the type 2 diabetes, it's safe for them. It's probably safe for people that are just overweight and don't have that. That's what I think. Now there's the long term effect that's going to have. We'll see, but I don't expect. I mean, there's nothing that implies that there's going to be any big negative effect of it. So yeah, and breaking free just because you didn't feel full or nauseous on GLP-1 doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? Like again, people are different. There's 8 billion people on the planet. Everyone responds differently. So, Yeah, Don says, let's just say it's for diabetes, it's being abused. And I fear it won't end well. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what they do. Yeah, Biggie says, liberating to work on weight mastery, limit your goal weight. Agreed. To the bestie, so bring subconscious conscious, and does hypnosis reinforce your subconscious? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it, intuitive bestie. So a lot of program yourself then is really about, the first step is awareness, becoming aware of the program that we have in there. And the second step is once we are aware of it, we start strategically, I would say, resolving the worst parts of it. So for example, one of the things we'll do is we'll start with your worst eating habit. Whatever your worst eating habit is, we'll start focusing on that. We won't change all of your eating. We'll work on your worst eating habit and we will start to really diagnose it. When does it show up? What moods kind of trigger it? What do you say to yourself to do it? What are the environmental triggers that cause it to happen? What are the preliminary factors that lead to that behavior? So we really, really diagnose and deep dive into it. because we want to resolve it. And once we kind of figure out resolution to program our subconscious mind, we just use our imagination. Every time you watch a TV commercial, it's hypnosis session. It's programming your subconscious mind. And so all it is using imagination to reinforce what we want to do, say, think, behave into our subconscious mind. It's a very simple process you already do, but you've never learned how to do it intentionally. It's always just being used on you, and primarily through advertisement, but there's other ways as well. So he says that's such a compassionate perspective, my thin friends. I don't remember what I was saying when I said that. And to best, if it helps, I imagine the scale going down, and then it does. Yeah. Yeah. Imagine the scale going down. That's a fine thing, but that's just one tiny little example. Seeing the scale going down and then it does is that's kind of almost like a law of attraction-ish sort of thing. And there's a time and a place for that. I'm fine with that. The way more powerful way to use that process, though, is to imagine yourself doing the things that cause the scale to go down. And that is the thing I find most people overlook. They love to fantasize about the result that they want to get, the scale going down, the clothes on the scale, all that stuff happening. But it's focusing on the things we need to do in the moment. So it's, let's just say you snack at night. It's saying, okay, at night, instead I want to eat an apple instead of, a candy bar. And so you program your mind to eat an apple at night instead of the candy bar, right? And you program that into your mind. That's going to be more effective in making the scale go down than just imagine the scale go down. Oh, that's as an example. Hope that makes sense. Sophie says, I've actually lost about 10 pounds. Thanking you for a lot of that. Oh, thank you, Sophie. I'll take that. I appreciate that. Always loving to, that's the beauty of doing this for so long. I really get to help a lot of people through the podcast. So it's exciting. So he said, I lose more weight when I'm living alone, which is interesting. That is interesting. Yeah, you should definitely look into that. So he said his partner was gone for a week and I found it so much easier to go with how I felt. Yeah. Yeah, it's very true. Again, yeah, a lot of so much of our weight comes down to the people that we live around and are around. It really is a big piece of the equation. And a lot of times we have to learn how to manage our relationships in order to manage our weight. Again, another thing often overlooked with diets. Yeah, I've done that, but I've done it before if I can keep that mindset. Yeah, again, I mean, if I can keep that mindset, again, the challenge right now, Intuitive Bestie, is that you have a vague kind of technique you use with no real granular understanding of what's going on with it. And so, even if you go watch, listen to the hypnosis, but watch the video I made for you. And I think that'll give you a much richer idea of what we're talking about here. And you seem to, again, intuitive. I love intuition. I think intuitive eating isn't going to help very many people lose weight. It'll help a couple because everything helps a couple people. But I think intuitive eating isn't enough. But if you're an intuitive person, I think this approach, go check out that video. Yep, love the flow state. Yep. Yeah, hair loss happens after a stressful diet, so don't always connect the dots. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. Yeah, if you do something so stressful, your hair is going to fall out. Before your hair falls out, your awareness starts to shrink because you're in a real, negative, painful, unresourceful state. Let's put it that way. All right. Well, let's wrap it up here. So thanks everyone. I appreciate the questions. Even if people don't agree with me, that's fine. Again, we don't have to all agree. Great minds can disagree. But I always want the best for you all. So again, I try to make that clear, and I think everyone's got their own path. So never do I ever want to, do I want to sound like I want to never sound like I'm belittling things. That's not true. I love belittling diets, but I don't belittle the medication. I really don't. I belittle keto because I think it's goofy, carnivore, a lot of strict extreme diets. I want to belittle those. I do want to belittle those. But let it be known that I am belittling the diet and not the dieter. I love the dieter. That's why I'm here every day for free, because I do want to help you all as much as I can, get on a path where you get to be the person you want to be, weigh what you want to weigh, live the way you want to live. So I never want to come across like I'm belittling a person. I would never do that. Never want to do that. So anyways, yeah, if you want to go deeper in my world, click the link in my bio or go to Program Yourself Thin, get the free hypnosis session I give you, watch the video I made for you, read the emails I send you, and realize there is a better way. There's a better way. I promise you. And I'm here every weekday, usually around noon Eastern. Wherever you're watching me is where I'm at. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all over the place, and I stream this live. So if you ever have any questions, I'm happy to help you. That's what I'm here for. I'm happy to, if you're feeling stuck, if you feel lost, feel apathetic, pop on here, ask a question. I can almost guarantee you I can kind of, knock you into gear. That's what I do. That's what I do for a living. So I'm here to happy to help you out. And if you want to listen to these, I record these every day. It's a podcast, Program Yourself Thin, where you can listen to these. And the more you listen to them, the more you'll probably start to make healthier food choices. So, all right, everyone, have a super duper day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.